All right, hey, you know the song 12 Days of Christmas, but have you heard this version of the classic carol yet?
In my fourth look at spending, a government study, calling elf birds,
grouse hens nesting,
turtle-friendly lighting,
internet in Partridge, Kentucky.
Well, our next guest put his own spin on the classic, as you just saw, highlighting all the ways that government has spent your money. Eric Scheiner is a senior video producer at CNSnews.com, and he joins us now live. Eric, where'd you get this idea?
Well, basically, we've covered a lot of government spending programs at CNSnews.com, and I thought for this season we could probably put a different spin on it and bring some information over to it. Kind of a new twist, and luckily I found some topics and some grants that would fit the cadence of the song and the topics of the song. Put it together, asked around for some folks to help me sing it. Got an underwhelming response, as one could possibly imagine. But luckily, Dan Joseph and Katie Yoder, they were good sports. I work with them, and they agreed to sing the song with me.
Oh, fantastic. Financially, you can keep that to yourself, how you settled that. We cannot go through all the days of Christmas and not go into the Hemmer McCallum show. So let's just pick out a few. Let's begin with the fourth day listen, and then you could tell me.
All right, the fourth day listening is calling... Spending a government study, calling elf birds. Calling elf birds. This is an actual study from the Department of Interior, a cost of over $160,000. And it's for the Great Basin Bird Observatory in Reno, Nevada. And they were studying elf birds, the calls, the response, and the decibel level, as well as the response time. And I guess, you know, when you're spending that kind of money on elf birds, you want a good response time.
Right. And now let's look fast forward to the 9th day. Let's see how our money's being wasted. Then you can explain.
In the 9th look at spending, my government did for me.
Interactive video dancing.
A look at...
Yeah, that's from the National Science Foundation. That's over $750,000, and that's going to the Dance.Draw program at the University of North Carolina. And basically, they put radio frequencies in the satin cuffs of dancers. They dance, and their images and their choreography is being recorded and projected on a screen with shapes. And I guess a choreographer can record them and do some virtual choreography as well.
And that helps our nation how?
Well, again, you know, this is the 12 waves of spending. It's a way that the government is spending the money. I'll leave it to the audience to figure out if it's useful and how it helps our nation.
Let's see what the 11th day has you singing about.
In the 11th look at spending, the government did for me.
Celtic pipers piping.
Celtic pipers piping for the cost of $20,000?
Yeah, this went to an institute. It's a $20,000 NEA grant. It went to a Celtic foundation in Washington State to bring Celtic pipers over to do some instruction and also to do a virtuoso performance.
Now, you also say this is not from Tom Coburn's book, but a lot of this comes from the National Endowment of the Arts. This is what they want to do with their grants.
Yeah, this one comes from the National Endowment of the Arts. Others come through stimulus spending. Some come through NIH grants. Basically, we list all the lyrics underneath the song on CNS News, and people can click on the lyrics, and it will bring them to the documentation for the program.
Eric, I look forward to the day where you have nothing to sing about. But until then...
So do a lot of people. Nobody wants to hear me sing, Brian.
But Eric, until then, I'll see you again at least next year. Eric Scheiner, good job. Very creative. Thanks so much.
Great. Thank you, Brian.
All right, coming up straight ahead, the unions say they saved the auto industry, but did they really?